Good evening and welcome to the News Tonight, your one-stop for the day's top stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines. Post-surgical strikes, terrorist attacks on security establishments and army camps have declined by 25%. Home Minister Rajnath Singh tells the upper house that civilian casualties have also declined. Congress leader Digvijay Singh's motion on governors' conduct in Manipur and Goa in Rajya Sabha. Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian says that the discussion is possible after completing procedural formalities. A day after Supreme Court recommends an out-of-court settlement, BJP MP Subramanian Swamy says Muslims should accept the proposal to build Ram Mandir or party will enact a law. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley reiterates that goods and services tax will be implemented from July, confident that it will make India one of the world's biggest markets. Starting with Rajya Sabha proceedings, and Home Minister Rajnath Singh apprised the upper house on Wednesday that terrorist attacks on security establishments and army camps since the surgical strikes have declined by 25%. There were also reports of local people in certain pockets of Kashmir pelting stones on security forces to disrupt the operation to flush out militants in the area. Here are more details. The Home Minister asserted during question hour that the number of terror attacks and ceasefire violations along the international border and the line of control have reduced after India conducted the surgical strikes at terror launch pads across the LOC last year. He said there were 110 terrorist incidents in 2 months before the surgical strikes and 87 in the 2 months after them. Similarly, the casualties of civilians as well as security forces have also declined.
सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक के बाद कितनी हुई हैं उसकी जानकारी दी गई है। 87 हुई हैं। मारे गए हमारे सुरक्षा बल के कितने पर्सनल्स हैं उनकी जानकारी पहले की 34 दी गई है और बाद की यह 19 है। सिविलियंस का जहां तक सवाल है उसकी भी जानकारी आपको दी गई है। सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक के पहले जितने सिविलियंस की किलिंग हुई है उसमें नंबर 7 है और सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक के बाद उनका नंबर 6 है। इसकी जानकारी दी गई है।
Singh also assured the House that the government has continuously encouraged policies to bring the youth of Kashmir to the mainstream by providing employment opportunities to wean them away from militancy.
नौजवानों को अधिक से अधिक जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज ये हासिल हो सकें इसके लिए भी हमने कई कदम उठाए हैं। अब साल 1.5 साल के अंदर मैं सभापति महोदय मैं जानकारी देना चाहता हूं 10,000 एसपीओ की भर्ती का सीधा आदेश गृह मंत्रालय से अंतर्गत किया गया है। 10,000 मैं समझता हूं कि एक मुश्त 10,000 एसपीओ की भर्ती कश्मीर वैली में इसके पहले कभी नहीं हुई होगी जो कि आदेश इस समय जारी किया गया है।
The surgical strikes were conducted by the Indian Army on the 29th of September last year. It was conducted to destroy terror camps inside POK 11 days after Lashkar terrorists struck Uri headquarters. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. Congress MP Digvijay Singh's substantive motion in the upper house on conduct of governors of Goa and Manipur has been admitted. Singh has alleged that the conduct of the governors had gone against the established practice and constitutional propriety.
Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian informed the House that Congress leader Digvijay Singh's substantive motion on the conduct of governors of Manipur and Goa has been admitted. Kurian, however, clarified that certain procedural formalities have to be completed to initiate the discussion.
You are given notice that it has been admitted, but there is some more procedural formality to be fulfilled. After fulfilling that, we will come back to you.
Digvijay Singh has been pressing for the prompt consideration of his motion under Rule 168. He claimed that both governors did not invite the single largest party to form the government.
I was told that the Honorable Chairman is going to consult with the Leader of the House. This is a matter of utmost urgency and importance. Because there has been a gross violation of the constitutional propriety.
See.
There has been a gross violation of the guidelines of the Sarkaria Commission.
I'll tell you the position.
And the precedent has been made that the
please.
floor test is being done in Government House.
In the recent assembly elections, BJP bagged 13 seats in Goa, while the Congress was the largest party with 17 seats. In Manipur, the Congress was the largest party, winning 28 seats in the 60-member House, while the BJP came a close second with 21 seats. The BJP, however, managed to gather the majority number in both the states and won the floor test. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
A gamut of electoral reforms was discussed in Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. The BJP once again gave the push for simultaneous parliamentary and assembly polls, and several other ideas were also discussed, even though most of the focus stayed on the allegations of EVM tampering during the recent assembly polls in 5 states.
Participating in a short-duration debate on electoral reforms, Rajya Sabha members called for bold reforms like state funding of polls and audit of election spending by political parties. Demanding a probe into BSP leader Mayawati's allegations of EVM tampering in the recently concluded assembly polls, members also sought the use of voter-verified paper audit trail machines. Expressing concern over alleged misuse of the media by political parties during elections, JDU leader Sharad Yadav pitched for media reforms and said that democracy was in danger as media is being controlled by capitalists.
Do not facilitate people to choose a right government. If democracy used as a tool to manipulate formation of a government, which has not been the true desire of the peoples, democracy fails to function in true spirit.
VVPATs लगाने के लिए आपको 2 साल लगते हैं, 2 से 3 साल लगते हैं। अगर आपने 2014 में किया होता तो अभी 2 महीने में या यूपी के इलेक्शन में भी ये लग गया होता।
24 घंटे पहले चुनाव के किस तरह से दूसरी पार्टियों के उम्मीदवारों तक को खरीद लिया गया, ये मैं जानता हूं।
सबकी तरफ से एक बात उठी है। मैं तो मानता हूं कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो कहा है उसको यदि पूरा किया जाए तो हो सकता है कि यकीन और विश्वास लोकतंत्र में और मजबूत होगा।
Our colleagues of this house who suddenly find that we are waiting for a commercial aircraft to take off or that is getting late, but they fly off in their private jets, they come and land and then take the helicopter and go off for the election meetings and cover 7 meetings, but we can do it only 1 or 2 at the most on road.
Over a period of 5 years, within a period of 5 years, it involves, the governance may come to standstill. That is point number 1, sir. Point number 2 is cripple the development.
BSP leader Satish Chandra Mishra accused the BJP of tampering with EVMs and demanded that UP elections must be cancelled.
ये पार्टी पावर में हो चाहे कोई पावर में हो, इसका यूज मिसयूज उसी हिसाब से होता है जो पावर में, और इसलिए इसमें अगर इलेक्टोरल रिफॉर्म्स इलेक्शन लड़ करके कोई आता है तो इसमें एक 10 शेड्यूल को भी हमको देखना चाहिए और उस पे देख करके उस पे अमेंडमेंट्स लाने चाहिए।
आज तक हर टीवी डिबेट में या कहीं भी ईवीएम पर कभी डाउट भी नहीं किया, क्योंकि और हमने, क्योंकि मैं मानता हूं कि देश के लोकतंत्र को, इतने लोगों के जनादेश को इतने हल्के में हमें नहीं लेना चाहिए।
Members also cited examples of developed countries which have challenged the use of EVMs in elections and opted for paper ballots instead. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Today is World Water Day. According to a new global report released to mark the occasion, there are 63 million people in India without access to clean water, and that population lives in rural areas. The study makes India top of the chart with lack of access to clean drinking water. The Water Aids report, While Water, says the lack of government planning, competing demands, rising population and water draining agricultural practices are all placing increasing strain on water. The report also said that diseases such as cholera, blinding trachoma, malaria and dengue are expected to become more common and malnutrition more prevalent. Describing India as one of the world's fastest growing economies, it said that ensuring water security for the growing population is one of the main challenges facing the country. According to India's official groundwater resources assessment, more than 1/6 of the country's groundwater supply is currently overused. The report also says that 663 million people globally are without clean water, and the vast majority of them, 522 million, live in rural areas. And on the occasion, Rajya Sabha Chairman Muhammad Hamid Ansari urged people to conserve water. The UN General Assembly had in 1993 designated March 22nd as World Water Day.
This year, the day is dedicated to the theme wastewater, which will serve to highlight wastewater as a valuable resource and its safe management as an efficient investment in the health of humans and ecosystems. The day serves as a unique occasion to remind everybody to reduce the usage of fresh water and treat and reuse wastewater for irrigation purposes in agriculture, for cooling systems in industries, and for the creation of green spaces in our homes and cities.
On to more news. And hearing in the 1992 Babri Masjid demolition case involving senior BJP leaders L.K. Advani, M.M. Joshi and Uma Bharti was adjourned today. A bench headed by Justice P.C. Ghosh and Justice R.F. Nariman will now hear the matter tomorrow, as Justice Nariman was not part of the Supreme Court bench today. Earlier this month, Justice Nariman had remarked about reviving the criminal conspiracy charge against BJP veteran leader L.K. Advani and other top leaders during the hearing of the Babri Masjid demolition case. Advani and 20 other BJP leaders were charged by the CBI under sections 153A, 153B and 505 of the Indian Penal Code in the case. In fact, a day after the Supreme Court recommended an out-of-court settlement for the long-standing Ayodhya Ram Mandir dispute, BJP MP Subramanian Swamy today hardened the pitch, saying that Muslims should accept his proposal to building the temple or the BJP will enact a law to the effect. A day after the Supreme Court suggested negotiations to resolve the Ram Mandir issue, BJP's Rajya Sabha MP Subramanian Swamy said in a Twitter message that Muslims should accept his proposal to build a mosque across the Sarayu. Feeling this, Swamy insisted that a law will be enacted to build a temple after the party gets a majority in Rajya Sabha. He also dared anyone to demolish the temple of Ram Lala that was set up after the Supreme Court sanction in 1994. The remarks angered Muslim groups who have expressed skepticism about the Supreme Court's observation.
सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी का ये ट्वीट करना और ये कहना इस बात का सबूत है कि सबसे पहले उनको सुप्रीम कोर्ट पर भरोसा नहीं है। दूसरा ये है कि वो इस ट्वीट के जरिए दबाव डालने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट पर। तीसरा ये है कि इनका पार्टी का असली चेहरा सामने आ गया कि वो हिंदुस्तान को हिंदू राष्ट्र बनाना चाहते हैं।
तो ये कोई कंप्रोमाइज थोड़ा, ये तो सरेंडर है। वो चाहते हैं कि मुसलमान अपना क्लेम सरेंडर कर दें, मस्जिद पर जो मुकदमा चल रहा है और वो वहाँ पर उनको दे दें। ये किसमें कंप्रोमाइज की बात ही नहीं कोई है, टोटल सरेंडर चाहते हैं, इसके लिए वो दबाव डाल रहे हैं।
The Supreme Court's observations came after Swamy sought an urgent hearing on the issue. The opposition also criticized Swamy and his Twitter remarks.
अरे कौन से अधिकार से स्वामी जी कह रहे हैं? उनके पार्टी में किसी को पता नहीं सिवाय मोदी जी की क्या होने वाला है, कहाँ पहुंच जाएंगे। ये कहने की बात है, कहते जाएं। 2018 में कानून बनेगी, किसान की आत्महत्या पे कोई कानून नहीं बनाएगी।
सिचुएशन ऐसा हो कि जिसकी लाठी उसकी भैंस, तो सिर्फ लाठी नहीं बोलता, भैंस भी बोलता है। और हमारे जो देश में सरकार चल रही है वो ऐसे उनके कई भैंसे हैं और पहले वो चीखते हैं और उसके बाद फिर लाठी निकलता है। तो जो मामला सुप्रीम कोर्ट में लंबित है और जो क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस हुआ है बाबरी मस्जिद को तोड़ने से, चूंकि उसका अभी हियरिंग आने वाला है तो उसको इन्फ्लुएंस करना चाहते हैं और ये अफसोसनाक है।
अभी तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फाइनली जजमेंट आने से तो पहले बहुत बड़ी बड़ी बातें लोग कह रहे हैं ये लोग, लेकिन जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट फाइनली कोई डिसीजन लेगा तो उसके बाद फिर देखते हैं।
Calling it a national issue, the BJP said that the matter should not be politicized.
एक राष्ट्रीय मुद्दा है और देश की जनता के, करोड़ों जनता के श्रद्धा के बिंदु है, उसको वैसे ही देखना चाहिए। और ऐसे एक श्रद्धा केंद्र के बारे में राजनीतिक बात करना ये विपक्ष को उचित नहीं होगा।
On Tuesday, the Supreme Court observed that involved parties should attempt fresh talks to resolve this sensitive and sentimental matter out of court. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. With a quick break here, more news follows in a bit. Stay with us.
Rahul Gandhi is heading the party at the moment, will people not hold him accountable for the decline of the party?
When we fail, they criticize. When we succeed, everybody takes credit.
The high command culture which exists within the Congress, that is inhibiting the growth of Congress.
In BJP, whatever Modi tells, it will be okay.
When you look at the brand Rahul as compared to brand Modi, do you really see it as battle amongst the unequals?
Don't compare Rahul ji, Modi.
Watch to the point with senior Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's continue getting you more national news. And Finance Minister Arun Jaitley reiterated on Wednesday that the goods and services tax will be implemented from July this year. Speaking at the 23rd conference of the Commonwealth Auditor General, Jaitley said that GST rollout will make India as one of the world's biggest single market and will make tax evasion difficult. He also said the reform measures will help India achieve 7 to 8% growth and retain the tag of the fastest growing major economy in the world. However, challenges remain in volatile global oil prices, reviving private sector investment and public sector banks. The Union Cabinet has cleared 4 supplementary GST legislations, which will be introduced in Parliament in the ongoing budget session. GST was first proposed in 2006 and will replace 17 state and central levies.
The biggest reform in India which has taken place, and I always regard it as one of the biggest taxation reforms in India since independence, is what we are in the process of trying to implement from the 1st of July this year, is the goods and services tax. All taxes have been subsumed into one tax. There will be a seamless transfer of goods and services across the country. Each assessee has to face only one assessing authority.
The newly elected Chief Ministers of Punjab and Uttarakhand met Prime Minister Narendra Modi today, their first meeting after being appointed as CMs. Though courtesy calls, these meetings are aimed at seeking centre's cooperation for their respective states. Punjab Chief Minister Amrinder Singh made a strong pitch for a loan waiver for farmers of his state in his meeting with the Prime Minister. He had earlier met Finance Minister Arun Jaitley too to seek financial support for crop procurement. The Punjab Chief Minister was also slated to meet the President in the evening. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Trivendra Singh Rawat also met the Prime Minister, who asked him to lay emphasis on fighting corruption in the state. Earlier in the day, Rawat also met Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and Home Minister Rajnath Singh and Urban Development Minister Venkaiah Naidu.
मुख्यमंत्री बनने के बाद मैं उनसे मार्गदर्शन लेने के लिए यहाँ पर आया था और उन्होंने कहा कि भ्रष्टाचार पर कोई माफी नहीं होनी चाहिए, चाहे कोई भी हो। और उत्तराखंड को उन्होंने पूर्ण सहयोग का में अपना आशीर्वाद दिया है।
At least 9 slaughterhouses were sealed in Lucknow after the newly appointed Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Aditya Nath directed police officials to prepare an action plan for closure of abattoirs in the state. As per the Lucknow Municipal Corporation estimate, there are approximately 250 meat shops running illegally in the city. It is, however, not clear whether the sealed slaughterhouses were illegal or not. Chief Minister Aditya Nath also asked officials to ensure a blanket ban on smuggling of cows and said that zero tolerance would be exercised in this regard. The BJP in its manifesto had promised to close down all illegal slaughterhouses and put a blanket ban on all mechanized abattoirs. The NIA Special Court in Jaipur awarded life imprisonment to 2 convicts in the 2007 Ajmer Dargah bomb blast case. Devendra Gupta and Bhavesh Patel were convicted along with the third convict Sunil Joshi, who died soon after the bombing. Fines of 10,000 and 5,000 rupees were also imposed on Patel and Gupta respectively. Both Devendra Gupta and Sunil Joshi had been RSS pracharaks. The blast on Khwaja Chishti shrine in October 2007 left 3 people dead and 17 injured. There were as many as 149 witnesses in the case and 451 documents were examined. The NIA in fact had filed 3 supplementary charge sheets in the case.
हमारे वकील साहब ने सारी बातें रख दी है, उनका जो विचार है वही हमारी बात समझते हैं।
आप अपने आप को दोषी मानते हैं कि नहीं मानते अभी?
नहीं।
हर एक्यूज का राइट है हाई कोर्ट जाना. डेफिनेटली दे विल गो टू द हाई कोर्ट. आई एम ऑफ द व्यू दैट judgment will not stand in the High Court.
The BMC on Wednesday issued show cause notices to at least 1,200 junior doctors who are on mass leave for the third consecutive day. The doctors are protesting against attacks on them by patients' families. The strike prompted the government to order them to report to duty by Wednesday evening or lose 6 months' salary. Nearly 4,000 doctors have been on strike in various government and municipal hospitals since Monday, demanding security at workplaces. The Maharashtra Medical Education Minister Girish Mahajan ordered the resident doctors to report to duty by 8 p.m. or lose their 6 months' salary. However, at the moment, the situation remains status quo. He also assured the doctors of being provided security by the month end. Medical services in 17 government hospitals in Maharashtra, including 4 in Mumbai, have been affected because of the protest. However, the strike will continue.
3 दिन हमारी चर्चा होने के बाद हमने लेखी स्वरूप में उनको आश्वासन देने के बाद भी अगर वो काम पर नहीं आते तो मुझे लगता है ये बात बहुत गंभीर है और इसलिए हमने आखिरी अल्टीमेटम उनको दिया है. अगर शाम को 8 बजे तक अगर वो अपना स्ट्राइक पीछे नहीं लेते, काम पे नहीं आते 8 बजे तक, तो हम उनका 6 महीने का जो सैलरी है, जो तनख्वाह है, वो हम उनकी कपात करने वाले हैं.
We are pained to take this decision that from today, from this very moment, we strike down work. All OPDs and emergency services, all OPDs and elective surgeries will hereby stand withdrawn. There will be no OPDs even in the private sector. All our members are hereby instructed to strike off work in support to the cause of these resident doctors.
And here are more updates from across the country in Nationwide. BJP legislator Pramod Sawant has been elected as the Speaker of Goa's Legislative Assembly. He secured 20 votes, defeating the Congress nominee Alexo Reginaldo Lorenzo, who got 15 votes. Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar congratulated Sawant and said that he is an experienced legislator who has actively participated in various debates in the House. Supreme Court has sought responses from the Centre, Secretary Generals of both Houses of Parliament and the Election Commission on a plea seeking the scrapping of pension and other perks being given to MPs. It has been alleged that pension and other perks being given to MPs even after demitting office are contrary to Article 14 of the Constitution. The plea also said that Parliament has no power to provide for pensionary benefits to lawmakers without making any law. 19 opposition MLAs from the Congress and NCP were today suspended from the Maharashtra Assembly for 9 months for creating uproar in the House. The members were suspended for displaying banners, shouting slogans and disrespecting the Speaker's directions during the budget presentation. The suspension of 9 Congress and 10 NCP members came after a resolution to this effect was adopted by the Assembly. On the occasion of World Water Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today asked citizens to pledge to save every drop of the precious natural resource. In a series of tweets, the Prime Minister said that Jal Shakti can be preserved if Jan Shakti allows it. A delegation of all political parties of Haryana led by Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar will meet the Home Minister Rajnath Singh in New Delhi on the 24th of March to discuss the Satluj-Yamuna link canal issue. Punjab and Haryana have been at loggerheads over the SYL canal issue. Haryana has been seeking the construction of the canal for getting a share of the Ravi Beas waters. Now to the top international story at this hour. Gunshots were fired and a policeman was stabbed outside the Parliament building in London. 2 people were shot while dozens are reportedly injured in the shooting incident on Westminster Bridge near the UK Parliament. The Metropolitan Police in London confirmed that officers were summoned at about 2:40 p.m. local time to Westminster Bridge over reports of a firearms incident. The House of Commons session was suspended and the Palace of Westminster was locked down. Deputy Speaker of Commons David Lidington has said that armed police had shot the alleged assailant. Staff inside the Parliament were told to stay inside their offices. Politicians and journalists tweeted about hearing loud crashes outside the buildings. Witnesses said that they saw a man with a knife in the palace grounds. In more international news, the US and UK have banned laptops and other large electronic devices from cabin baggage on flights from certain countries. The flights include those from nations in the Middle East and North Africa, as well as Turkey. The US ban applies to 10 airports in 8 Muslim-majority countries, while the UK ban applies to 6 countries. The ban means travelers in affected airlines cannot bring any large electronic device on board their aircraft. Instead, those electronics need to be stored in the cargo hold. However, mobile phones have not been affected. The airlines included in the US decision have been given a deadline of Saturday to impose the ban. US officials said that an Al-Qaeda affiliate was perfecting techniques for hiding explosives in batteries and battery compartments of electronic devices. That led both the nations to impose the ban. Canada is now contemplating the ban as well.
For security for some people and other people none. You know, it's not for everybody, right? And in the airplane, you have people from different nationalities. So the person who would do anything, he would carry his laptop and go to different airline, do it, you know. So I don't know who smart made this decision.
And here are more updates from across the world in Global Buzz. A top North Korean envoy has said that the country has nothing to fear from any US move to broaden sanctions aimed at cutting off from the global financial system. The envoy further added that North Korea will pursue acceleration of its nuclear and missile programs. This comes after the US said that it is exploring new diplomatic, security and economic measures in response to the threat posed by North Korea's nuclear and ballistic missile programs. Meanwhile, South Korean and US officials said that a new North Korean missile launch seems to have failed. Without giving details, Seoul's defense ministry statement said that Pyongyang fired a missile from an airbase in the western port of Wonsan. The US military, which is conducting military drills with South Korea, also said that it detected a missile that exploded within seconds of being launched. EU leaders will hold a special summit on April 29 to adopt Brexit talk guidelines aimed at making the split the least painful for the bloc. The meeting will come exactly 1 month after Prime Minister Theresa May formally triggered the 2-year process of Britain's departure. The meeting, of course, is a necessary step before the negotiations formally begin between Britain and the 27 remaining EU states. At least 33 people were killed in a US-led coalition strike in Syria. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the strike hit a school being used as a temporary shelter for displaced families near Raqqa city. Top officials from the 68-nation alliance fighting the Islamic State are set to meet in Washington today to discuss about US President Donald Trump's plan to destroy their remaining strongholds in Iraq and Syria. Multiple blasts targeting camps for internally displaced people killed 4 people and injured 18 others in a northeastern Nigerian city. According to police, there were 4 explosions inside the camp which triggered fires, burning down many tents. Militant group Boko Haram was behind the attack and all the attackers were killed. Boko Haram has been waging an 8-year campaign to create an Islamic caliphate in northeastern Nigeria. That's all we have for you on the news tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.